He emerged out of the foggy nights of Northern California in the late 1960s, a figure with no name, no face, no motive, just a chilling signature that would haunt an entire region and ripple into present day, leaving unsolved clues and unanswered questions in its wake. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. It began on a warm December evening in 1968 near Vallejo, where a young couple parked by Lake Herman Road thought they had privacy and peace, only to encounter a man walking up to their car with nothing but a flashlight and a gun. In a matter of seconds, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were shot dead, and a nightmare had been born. The attack was brutal, random, and seemingly without warning. It was only the beginning. Just months later, in July 1969, the killer struck again at Blue Rock Springs Park. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Maggio were seated in a car. When he walked up, shot them both. Darlene died, Michael survived, and then left an ominous calling card, a battered black marker, scrawling the letters Zodiac on the hood of Darlene's car. The region realised they were hunting not just a killer, but a predator with a message. That same month, the Bay Area newspapers received letters tagged with cryptic ciphers, taunting the police and the public in a twisted dance of words and mystery. The first cipher, 408 characters long, promised that more murders would follow if it was not printed. Because for this person, publicity was as much a part of the crime as the kill itself. Month by month, the Zodiac continued unsettling his audience. A phone call threatening new murders, more letters with puzzles and threats, and even a newspaper advertisement demanding more attention. The region was gripped by fear, yet mesmerized, reading every word he wrote and dissecting every pattern in his ciphers. But over the course of 4 more attacks, Lake Berryessa, in September 1969, where he staged a mock kidnapping and stabbed Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, and Presidio Heights in October 1969, where he executed taxi driver Paul Stein inside his cab and even taunted the SFPD by writing in blood on a wall. His methods shifted from shooting to stabbing to strangulation. Each change brought new dread, as if he was showing off his command over terror itself. Along with the brutality, he kept using the media. One of his most infamous communications came in June 1970, when he threatened to kill kids on school buses unless the San Francisco Chronicle publicly printed his cipher. The city was in uproar, law enforcement scrambled to comply, and the Zodiac's influence over public attention reached its peak. Civilian cryptographers spent decades decoding his codes. The first, solved in just days, revealed bragging about methodical murder. The second, the so-called 340 cipher, remained a locked vault for more than 50 years. Finally cracked in 2020 to reveal distorted boasts and more taunts. But some messages remain unsolved, unresolved, harking to a killer whose intellect was as sharp as his cruelty. In the span of 1 year, he created a legend. Police tried tracking, witnesses tried remembering, handwriting experts tried matching, and psych profilers strove to understand that person behind the mask. Over 100 suspects surfaced. Arthur Lee Allen, Ross Sullivan, and more. None ever stuck. None were charged. One suspect's home was filled with Zodiac memorabilia, but fingerprints never matched. Another was near the scenes at the right times, but evidence kept evaporating. Investigations pivoted over the decades, going cold, then resurfacing with new forensic tools. In 2002, DNA tests hinted at potential connections to another man, but no definitive match emerged. In 2018, a retired detective drew blood samples from an envelope and found a male DNA pattern, but still no identity. Experts probed witness memories of voices and gait, analysing handwriting and dialling style, but the best hopes remained buried in unsolved files. Public obsession grew into a cult following. Books were published, documentaries flourished, movies were made. True crime channels dissected every word he wrote, every code he sent, as if solving the case, or at least understanding it, offered some measure of peace. Amateur sleuths formed online task forces, tracking details, cross-checking suspects, visiting crime scenes with fresh eyes and fresh paranoia. Local fabric shops still show the same linen mailers he used. Blood-stained homes still attract visitors. Even presidential candidates once told reporters they were terrified because the Zodiac had not been caught. The ghost of his letters still flutters across email lists and podcasts, reminding listeners that evil is patient but not invincible. Yet the killer never answered one final question. Who was he? He told investigators that he had killed 37. That was never proven. Victims outside California may never have been linked. His last confirmed message came in 1974. Though the FBI maintained an open file until 2004, he simply stopped. Here in the digital age, new methods like genetic genealogy, geographic profiling and AI handwriting analysis offer fresh promise. The Faraday police have reopened the files. Civilian researchers are applying DNA comparisons to other cold cases, and despite the decades, despite the passages of time, there are glimmers that justice may yet arrive. Because this case is more than a crime. It's a warning about anonymity, media influence, evil without identity, and what happens when a killer decides to control the narrative. It's a story about a community's terror and a society's desperation to name its monsters. It's about decades lost, lives wasted, grief unresolved, but also the unbroken resolution of families who still deserve closure. We'll likely never know the killer's name. We'll likely never know his face, but we have his words, his threats, his codes, his arrogance. And until someone stands before a judge willingly or unwillingly acknowledging that identity, he remains the Zodiac, anonymous, dreadful, unsolved. So if you're listening, watching, trying to solve those puzzles across decades, you're not just uncovering evidence. You're challenging the darkness. You're keeping memory alive. You're refusing to let the Zodiac's murder spree vanish into nothing. Because you honour those who died, those who survived, and those, even now, waiting for home.